about divorce. I'm kidding, but not really. I know I already made a video about middle school books. I'm not making another one, but I do want to talk about these books. Look, these are the ones that I've been enjoying. And I don't know how long this middle school books craze is going to last, but I think I'm gonna try and read all of the middle school books that I have and then moving on to the older YA adult books that I have. I don't know, I just feel like I just need something light, something quick, something fun. So actually currently I'm reading Stuart Little, which I did not know was very different from the movie. So I'm humored for now. It is a bit young for me, but I'm humored for now. Anyway, one thing that I noticed while I was reading these books is that they're better. Why I think they're better is because, at least for the books that I've enjoyed, the authors don't shy away from really heavy topics. I'm realizing middle school book authors are actually just trying to help kids navigate life, but I think we need more of this for actual adult books. But instead, we turn to self-help books, which are boring, heavy, and there's something different about reading a light-hearted book that also makes you cry. So it all started with books that talk about divorce. So far we got this one, Judy Blume, It's Not the End of the World, Blister, Flying Solo, and The Secret Language of Girls. I thought these were all gonna be cute. I vaguely remember there was some kind of romance in this one. I had thought it was gonna be about planes. I just saw pom-poms and all I saw was Judy Blume. I don't think I had read Judy Blume before. I started with The Secret Language of Girls, and it was about two friends who grew up together, always going across the street to each other's houses. They know the problems in each other's homes, but one of the girls, let's call her B, decides that she wants to be cool. She starts avoiding, let's call the other girl A. She starts avoiding A. She ends up joining the cheerleading team, getting a bunch of friends that are very rude, cliquey, and even make fun of her old friend, A. A has still been very open to staying friends with B, but B has been very clear about wanting to be cool and trying to figure herself out. It's not until B's parents decide that they're going to have a divorce that she finally reaches back out to A. If it was me personally, I'm sorry, my number is lost. I don't know you anymore. But it was a very light discussion of divorce, but I was surprised to see it. Then we have Blister. This one made me cry. Maybe I'm easy, but it made me cry. It's about a young girl who grew up in a rural area of Connecticut, actually. CT. And she lived there with her mom and her dad, many farm animals, and her grandmother, who's a very hip and dancey grandmother, who would always visit and make food with them. Her grandmother tells her, "You're more like me than your mother. You're tough like me." But her parents are always fighting. And then her mom gets pregnant and it seems like everything's going to go well. But when she gives birth, the child is stillborn. After that, the father moves out of the house. They announce that they're getting a divorce. The father, I have my opinions, but you just see how she handles it because they have to move to this dingy apartment. They gave up their farm, all that land, the beautiful tree that she would always climb up, and just seeing her mother falling apart. She gives herself a new name and she calls herself Blister. And I could feel her heartbreak. I just was able to relate so much to the pain of being young and not being able to do anything, and so trying to control the little things that you can. Then there's Judy Blume, It's Not the End of the World. The first chapter, the parents are fighting. Food is being thrown and the little child is crying. And I think this one made me cry too, I don't remember. I don't know, this one wasn't as memorable as Blister, but it was still good. And just the character has 2 siblings, so there's 3 children, and just seeing how hard it is on everyone. And I think too, just because so many times we forget about kids and what they go through when adults make their decisions. I think that was the main theme of this. In the other one, it was kind of one girl trying to have control over something, and this one was the toll adult decisions have on children. Okay, so that was the end of divorces, but in Who Put the Hair in My Toothbrush, this one deals with sibling rivalry. And if you've ever seen Hey Arnold, Helga's mother, whose name I don't remember, has an addiction. Helga's mother has a problem with her smoothies. And in this one, the children have their mother who is always dissociating. She's doing her hypnosis on herself and spacing out. Her children just know that they can't really talk to her about anything. She doesn't really ask them about their lives or their projects. The main part of this was sibling rivalry and how the siblings kind of come back together. But I just found it interesting that they incorporated that. I'm coming to my thesis, hold on. And then this one was probably my favorite. We have our main character, Laura Sibby. Her parents promise her that if she never tells a lie, then they won't make her cut her hair. So she's never told a lie. Her hair is like the longest hair in the school, longer than this picture shows. I'm pretty sure it should be like down to her butt or something. But it's her realizing what a lie is, and that while she may not have told an outright lie, there were times where she didn't tell the exact truth, and how that played out in her life. And it played out with a lot of people feeling betrayed because of her. Although sometimes I don't really think it was her fault. This one though, there isn't really a main character. We go through the perspectives of like 6 different students, but it's what happens when the students in a classroom, no one shows up for their classroom. There's no teacher, there's no substitute, and no one finds out until the end of the day. And that shouldn't really matter, except that it's also the anniversary of the day that one of their classmates died. And after that classmate had died, Rachel, she stopped speaking altogether. So the reason why I'm even bringing those up is because it's just me realizing how with those middle school books, people took time and effort and care into making sure they could talk about these heavy topics about guilt and shame and honesty and lies and friendships and how easily trust is broken, about divorce, about dissociation of, even one of the books that I didn't mention because I didn't like it that much, but it still had good topics, was talking about dealing with abusive parents or parents who struggle with alcohol abuse. But I just love the way that these things are addressed, and it feels like they're actually things that we as adults need too, but it's almost like we're given tools to dissociate from reality and not have to talk about those tough subjects. It does feel like we need more of stories like this. But part of why we don't get them is because for middle schoolers, they're allowed to feel those things. We give younger people more permission, and especially in that age where your hormones and your feelings and everything's all over the place, they're more willing to express their truth. I think that's why I enjoy the middle school books, because everyone's just so honest and willing to accept when they're wrong, and even see when other people are wrong, including the adults. They're able to make their apologies, they're able to speak their shame, they're able to acknowledge their guilt. And when we go into the more adult books, that's where you get people who, it's such a breath of fresh air when you have an adult who's willing to say, I was wrong, who's able to say, I like this, I don't like that, this is who I am, I make mistakes. But a lot of times we get more realistic characters, not that there's anything wrong with that, who they have more that's just hidden. And maybe we don't need to all read middle school books, but maybe it would be great if we could just have more stories of people who learn to be authentically themselves. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas. But for now, I'm still reading middle school books. Hopefully by the next video, I won't be. Bye.